This is me interviewing Steve Moriarty. How do you pronounce the last name again, please? Moriarty?
Yeah, Moriarty, like Sherlock Holmes, like Professor Moriarty.
At the October 2014 Los Angeles Floyd Show. So now, out of all the characters in film and television you've played, which one is your favorite?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a lot of favorites, but there's a photo at the end of my table. If you look at it, I'm doing a shot with John Wayne.
Ah.
And that's me on the right. And that's me at 23 years old. But yeah, I'd have to say there's a lot of favorite movies. Robert Mitchum and those guys, I've always loved. I miss those guys. I miss John Wayne every day. Mitchum, Chuck Heston, I miss every day. Jack Lemmon. There's a lot of guys that are no longer with us, and during the day, sometimes I'll actually, think of them. And when I go on set, right now I'm playing the cook on Two Broke Girls on CBS. And every time I go on set, getting ready to go in front of the camera, I look skyward and I say, "It's magic time." That's what Jack Lemmon used to say every time he went in front of the camera.
That's right.
So that's my tribute to Jack Lemmon.
Nice.
I go, "It's magic time," and start doing it.
Very nice. Okay, and so did you ever get a chance to work with the DeLuise family or meet them at all? The DeLuise family, did you ever meet them or work with
Dom?
them? Yeah, and all the other DeLuises.
Yeah, matter of fact, I did, trying to remember the movie I did with him.
Smoking the Bandit, I guess. Smoking the Bandit. Though I think he was only in the second one.
That's me in 1977. I worked with Dom, and I'm trying to remember in what.
Was that Smoking the Bandit, or was it something else?
It was something else, because he was in 2, he wasn't in 1. Jackie Gleason and we had Dom's sweet guy, great cook.
Yeah,
gourmet cook, and he could cook really good stuff. And I'm trying to remember, I think I did Robin Hood Men in Tights with Dom.
Oh, very nice.
Because that was the Mel Brooks movie, and that's it. That's the one I did.
Very nice. You remember anything that was said when you were with him? Do you remember anything that was said when you were with him?
No, not really. He's just a very, very sweet guy, very great guy, funny guy.
Yeah.
And Mel Brooks just kept it very light. I had already done a movie with Mel called Blazing Saddles.
Oh.
And
what'd you do in that?
If you watch the movie, and Slim Pickens, you're at the toll booth, and Slim Pickens goes, "God damn it! Somebody go back and get a shitload of dimes." I'm the fourth horseman back in that scene.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And do you know what's really interesting about that movie? You remember the title, the theme song for Bart? Frankie Lane, the Western singer, sang that song.
Right.
He didn't know it was a comedy until he showed up premiere night. He thought it was a legit Western.
Wow.
And when we came out of premiere night, he goes, "That was a funny movie." Yeah, he had no clue it was an actual comedy.
Wow.
I saw Mel about a year ago, and I said, "Do you think we could do Blazing Saddles now and not get the shit suit out of it?" He goes, "Oh, somebody will sue it." You remember in the movie he mentioned about, he's talking to Harvey Korman, who's playing Hedley Lamar,
right.
And he says, "Well, don't worry about it. You could sue her." Hedley Lamar actually sued Mel Brooks.
For that business?
Yeah, about the movie. They dismissed the lawsuit. I thought she should be happy because everybody forgot who in the hell she was. Yeah, good.
Very nice. Did you ever work with or meet any other members of his family besides Dom DeLuise?
No.
Okay, but you must have worked with a lot of other people, though. Could you please name some of the people who you've met and worked with?
Robert Mitchum and John Mitchum. If you don't know who John Mitchum is, he played Frank DiGiorgio in most of the Dirty Harry movies. He was Frank. He was Eastwood Pardon.
Very nice.
And the Mitchums became 2 of the best friends I've ever had. I've done 11 movies with Eastwood. John Deal and I, he's here. He and I did Gettysburg and Pearl Harbor together. And he asked me, he remembered an interview I did about Pearl Harbor. when somebody asked me how I dealt with Michael Bay's yelling, he yells all the time, right? I said I took my hearing aids out until he was done yelling, and then when he got done, I put him back in and asked somebody what the hell he said. And when Michael heard about that, he came over to me and he said, "That's the nicest way anybody's ever told me." We'll leave that off the air. You can fill that one with whatever you want.
All right. Very nice. Ann Miller, the 1940s dancer, did you ever work with her or meet her at all? Ann Miller, the 1940s dancer?
Oh, I met her. Never worked with her, but I met her, and sweet lady. There's a great story. You're going to run out of recording. There's a great story about Paramount. Ann Miller was doing a dance routine in a movie, and Robert Mitchum, John Mitchum, Richard Widmark, and a guy named Tim Maxwell, who was Robert's double, who I'm playing Tim in a movie coming up. That as soon as they release the money, we're going to start. They're there to see Ann do the dance routine. Well, Ann had got sunburned, all right? And so Tony DeMarco, the famous makeup man, Oscar-winning makeup man, had to make a fake nose, right? So he's doing it. It takes about 2 hours for the nose to settle, right? Okay, so they do the thing. At lunch, they're all going to lunch. They're going across to the Stage Door bar across the street of Paramount, right? Tony DeMarco walks by Ann Miller and goes, took the nose off and put it in his pocket. They go to they're over at the bar for 2 hours. It comes back, Ann's in the chair. Tony reaches in, no nose. So the 5 of them go back. Now they're all drunk. 5 of them go back across the stage door, and they're crawling around on the floor trying to find this transparent nose. 5 customers come in, and they see half of freaking Hollywood crawling around on the floor. And one of the guys goes, "Mr. Mitchum, what are you doing on the floor?" He goes, "We're trying to find Ann Miller's nose." And the 5 of them turned around and walked out. So Mitchell put $500 on the counter to cover for scaring the shit out of the customers.
Very nice.
And when they walked back over to Paramount, Tony realized, I'm going to get fired. All of a sudden, the gate guard called him, and he came over and he was smiling. And he goes, "Ann just called in sick. She covered my ass. She won't be back until tomorrow. I can make her a new nose tomorrow."
And here's the last question.
Yeah.
What projects are you currently working on?
2 Broke Girls. I've got a pilot coming up as soon as they release the Hounds, which means the money. And I'm playing a second male lead in a TV show called Easy Acres. And it's about a retirement community. I'm going to be playing the drunky, grump old retired actor in it, which is sort of typecasting. And they've actually got it worked out that I can do 2 Broke Girls on Monday, Tuesday, and the other show on Thursday, Friday. So I have 2 shows on the air. So my wife's already got those paychecks spent.
Very nice. What was the Ann Miller film you were talking about, by the way? What was it? The Ann Miller film that she did, what was that?
I really don't know. I just know the story. It probably something that she danced in, and it had to be in the maybe 60s or 70s. So I really don't know what it was. But they were, I know Robert and John just told me the story. We were in stage door, and they were telling me about crawling around on the floor looking for that transparent nose. Yeah, there's some great stories in Hollywood. If you ever get a chance and on set, and you're with somebody that's been in the industry for a while, just shut up and listen. And I've learned through the years just to sit. Now I'm the old guy. I got people just listening into me, and there's just a lot of stories about Hollywood. Now you know who John Barrymore was?
Right.
Okay. Do you know what happened with him and Errol Flynn?
No.
Do you ever see or hear of a movie that Errol Flynn did in the 1940s, 42, called Gentleman Jim? He played Gentleman Jim Corbett. They played it on TCM. Okay. Well, they're filming the movie, and Raoul Walsh gets a phone call, and he cuts, and he goes, "Errol, the Barrymore just died. You're talking about John. Now, he was their best friend, okay? They went to the wake the next night, which was up on Mulholland near Solar Drive, okay? And Errol Flynn gets so roasted, he decides, I'm going to walk home. And he walks in. The way Flynn's house was set up from where they were at, it was easier to go through the galley into the study than it was to go around the front. So he comes in the galley, goes in the study, turns the lights on, and he didn't know that they had paid the mortician to put Barrymore's body in a chair in his living room in his study with a drink in his hand. Now, Flynn was so drunk, he forgot he just saw him dead. He goes, "Hey, John, how you doing, buddy?" Goes over and he goes, "You need another drink." And he's pouring a drink, and the drink's overflowing, and Barrymore's sitting like this. Flynn talked to him for 45 minutes before he finally gets this quizzical look on his face, and he goes, "You're dead."
Very nice.
And everybody came out, and the mortician said, "Jesus Christ, Walt, if I knew you were going to take John visiting, I would have put him in his gray suit."
Very nice. Well, thank you for allowing me to interview.
No problem. Probably used up all your recorder.
Well, there you have it. That was me interviewing Steve Moriarty at the October 2014 Los Angeles Hollywood Show.